How does it feel? I want to talk about how it feels as a woman. You know, we keep hearing in the media that we're the highest, the black woman, the most educated in the country right now, right? We hear all these things, but we have yet to get rewarded on the financial side. If we're so, we're so amazing, but then we don't get, you know, paid for our value like we should. Have y'all ever had an incident where you were passed up for promotion for someone that, you know, was maybe Caucasian or whatever?
Yes, I was actually, before I was doing like 9 to 5s, I remember even when I was working in restaurants still, I, you know, interview, got the job, all of that, and they made it clear, you know, we just want to get used to the environment before we give you more hours. The hours never came, but a new white female employee did.
So she didn't have to get used to the hours?
No.
Just you? Just you and your black self?
Me and my black self.
You need to get used to the hours.
Yeah, and of course, not even a couple weeks later, she has more hours, so she's getting more pay. She's getting promoted not long after that, and we had the same experience. We were literally on the same level starting off, and then I blink, and she's all of a sudden the person I have to take orders from.
Or when you befriend them and you find out that you guys have the same accolades. I have a master's from this type of school. I didn't go to an Ivy League, but if a person has gone to an Ivy League school, you've gone to an Ivy League school, some way, somehow, they discredit your Ivy League.
And it's the same thing, even in the music industry. Like I have been turned down for gigs because of my, you know, my look, because, you know, I have the natural hair, I have that, you know, quote unquote, the Afrocentric look. And so I would want to have this gig, but they'll say, you know, but you need to change your hair, you need to straighten it. Or then if I refuse to do that, then next thing I know, I'm on social media and they gave Becky you know, the gig. So it was like definitely happens a lot in the music industry.
When's it gonna be our turn? Seriously, like enough already.
Ownership. When we start owning our spaces, I think that's when you're able to set the standards and you're able to uphold the standards. And obviously, even when we do own things, you have black sisters that mistreat each other. And that's a whole nother topic. It might be the same topic, but.
No, we can talk about that too because it exists and we can't be fake about it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not all perfect and there's still some of us that have the crab in the barrel mentality and they think there's only room for one at a time, which is ridiculous. There should be more lifting each other up.
The topic of colorism, especially in my industry, is definitely out there. I've definitely been turned down with gigs because you know, I'm darker. And the whole, you know, especially going back to the pet to threat mentality, definitely, like if I start, you know, demanding things, they'll be like, all right, you know, Tamika, and they'll give, you know, a lighter artist the opportunity. So
well, that definitely is obvious that happens. You know, and this is something that we talk about a lot, but like we're not making any progress with it, I don't think. I feel like, and I think I wanted to do something here, like some kind of like a town hall on it, because I feel like the lighter shades, the darker shades, is like pain on both sides, and we don't. We think our pain, you know, we don't really see it from the other side a lot of times. And one of the things that sickened me the most when I was just kind of like being about town in LA, I remember being at an ESPN party at, it was a party at the Playboy Mansion. A bunch of athletes were there, right? And I remember walking around, I could hear the conversations of the brothers. And these people I see, I've interviewed before, I'm like, what's up? And I could hear some of the conversations. And so many of them were like, I'm so glad there's no black girls here. And I'm like, I can hear you. And they'll go, oh, you're different. I'm like, I'm not different. Don't think that I'm different. I still stand with my sisters. Like, I don't subscribe to that. And it's like, in this age, we're still doing this shit to each other.
2020.
We gotta deal, like, if the last few years of this administration hasn't taught us anything else about, like, how much we need to stick together with all that nonsense that's going on right now. Like, do we really have time to be talking about who's light, who's dark, who's medium, and, like, this one's not attractive because they're darker than the paper bag? Like, I know I've benefited from it, and I just want to talk to you about this because I just hate that it happens. And I just couldn't imagine the pain of, especially when it comes from other black people. I understand, not that I understand when it comes from white folks, but they're ignorant if they're racist anyway. But we as black people, when we do it and say, like, you hear brothers, I don't date nothing darker than me. I'm like, it hurts. Your mama's darker than you, though.
No, it really hurts. I've definitely, I mean, whew, I've seen it, I've been through it. Just, in my industry and also just in my dating world, just, you know, like men just saying, wow, I've never dated somebody like you, as if I'm this like foreign object. I'm just like, but like you said, like your mom is darker than me, like
as if you're privileged in some way to be the pretty.
But now another thing that's happening too is, you know, especially because you know, shout out to, you know, all these movies that are like putting out more dark sisters out there. But now it's coming to a point where now we're the we just want to try a dark girl, and it's like, well, and it's just like, well, okay, I'm still a woman here. There's still a heart here. You know, I'm just not just something. I'm just not a
token.
A token.
Yeah,
thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, a token. Thank you, girl. You got me.
Yes. That's a whole other topic that we could spend a couple hours on, and I would like to probably do that really soon.
Yes.
As far as, you know, sticking up for your, you know, your self-worth and knowing what you're worth in the workplace, you know, with making this about black women, it happens to women, period. But specifically, we're going to talk about black women because we have that added pressure that I think white women don't have. They don't have to go into a business meeting or a meeting with their supervisor and knowing that they're asking for market value and fear that they could lose their job. Like, I feel like it's more, we have to kind of tiptoe around that. Have y'all worried about standing up for your, you know, like fighting for the money that you should get? Like, I might lose this job over that?
Oh yeah, 100%, because so for me, I studied acting. That's what my degree's in. I'm auditioning all the time. And the reality is a lot of people don't want to deal with that because they see it as a conflict of interest. So I'm actually very relieved when I can go to an interview and know that that's not going to be an issue. And because of that, there's almost this pressure because you want to make sure you say things the right way, right? Especially coming from me because, you know, I'm a few inches away from 6 foot. I have a deep voice, I have short hair, I'm often misgendered. All these things society tells us a woman should not be. And so even me saying something with conviction, whether I'm raising my voice or not, is automatically going to have a lot of people on edge. And so it's tough because as much as I need the money, quite frankly, I also have to be mindful of previous experiences where, unfortunately, you know, I use the wrong tone or even sometimes looking the wrong way. People can misinterpret that, and it's a catch-22 because you can say something knowing that you got everything off your mind and it's not bottling up, or you can try and be polite. But what I've learned is I can't try and fit into an expectation that was always built to keep me out.
It's not set up for us. I think we have a question I'm going to get to in 1 second, but I think Serena Williams is a great example of what you know, there's so many times she want to be like, you know she want to do that? She can't do anything because they already come for her all the time.
No emotion, have no emotion, no reaction. Just play and shut up.
And John McEnroe, I think, I don't know, y'all probably too young, but he was a famous tennis player. He used to fight all the time, argue, throw his racket down, cuss people out, and they're like, oh, he's just passionate. But Serena dares to have a little bit, has a little emotion. It's like she's just a violent.
She's an angry black woman.
After she got antagonized as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been to her matches. I've been to a match in LA where I heard them call her the N-word in the stands in America. Serena Williams, our national treasure, okay? One of the greatest athletes in the world.
We must protect her
at all costs.
Each other.
All right, y'all. We have a question from the audience. What's your name and what's your question or comment?
More so a comment. I'm older now. I'm older. And I've been around, and still we're going through this. I don't understand. My vision is I feel like we as a culture of people, not races, only the human race, we got to endow to the white, take back America. Do you understand what I'm saying? We don't feel like we gifted enough, talented enough to go and try to pull together as women, men, as our ancestors did. They stood up, they fought, Dr. King and all of that. It feels like fear. Now I come from the South and I have myself, I'm in the business with this sister here, music, if they select somebody for casting, light-skinned black. What is a light-skinned black? Or you gotta have a dog back. I need somebody with a big size butt and stuff. But what I'm standing here to comment We need to come together and see and recognize how brilliant we are. I say this often, and to go back, is they should have stayed out of Africa. Wouldn't been no black people here. So you got to deal with what you started, okay? Right. You bring people in and you gonna hate me because you invaded a gifted, talented country and you hate me for what? I just want us to go back like we had our own restaurants, our hair salons, our dentistry, our school teachers. Yes, them black teachers taught me well. I know what 2 + 2 is. And to be a fabulous woman, okay? To be a fabulous woman. Let's think about what God gave us, our gifts, and stop depending on this Take Back America. That's what you're doing, and that's what I feel like we are endowing too much and embracing. If I can't go to the left or the right, getting the white man or the white, just Take Back America, take care of me. Ooh, I'm going up in the corner. I can't do it. I'm bad. Look at me, baby. I look good at 61. You see that?
You know, that is something that's a whole nother show too. Like I feel like we don't value each other a lot of times, and that's not everybody. And I know that's like I'm being very general, but we have this Black pride around certain holidays and certain months. And then when certain tragedies happen, we come together. And then do you leave and go have dinner at a Black-owned restaurant? Do you go buy your hair products from a Black beauty salon? We a lot of times we diminish our own stuff and we say, oh, that store's ghetto, they don't have good customer service. Now the ones that are, shame on you. You should still have the same level of professionalism. But like we don't support like we need to. I mean, a lot of us don't, right? And we got to stop like downing our own stuff all the time.
We need to do that.
And we do need to get back to that time of having more pride because we are very reliant on white America, on the white man. You know, and like. Well, I hate when I hear, oh, it's a good neighborhood. It's a lot of white people in my neighborhood. I'm like,
I hear that a lot too.
No.
Yeah,
that ain't it.
I hear that a lot too.
So that's to say that ours are bad.
Yeah, it's upholding that binary of good and bad, and good being white, black being bad. And the problem is, the sad thing is, it's convenient for a lot of people to uphold that mindset because, let's face it, even if white people were to go away tomorrow and it was just us, a lot of those issues are still going to be upholding it. Colorism, sexism, homophobia, misogyny, you know, the list goes on. And the sad thing is we have all these recent examples, right, of, let's look at the cooking industry, for instance. You look at chefs, predominantly men, they're usually swearing and cursing and hitting things.
Screaming.
And they still have shows, they still have careers, they can still travel the world doing just that. So for someone coming in the cooking industry, they go, oh, this is what I have to do to be a successful chef. Like, this is the mindset I have to carry, not thinking they can actually change it and take another avenue. And I think outside of that industry, it's unfortunately the same energy. Because, and that's why I don't really care for the term diversity, to be honest, because all it really does is give a slightly different look to issues that previous generations have been dealing with. I had a conversation with my grandmother who, you know, came from the Caribbean to England, and in her 20s, she had the exact same stories I did about not being respected for pay and always being overlooked as the only black woman in her space. So why is it with a generation between us, I in my 20s are having this same experience? It's because it's just a bit more insidious now. They know better than to make a direct reference to our skin tone or our gender or in my case nationality, because they know that's going to get them taken to HR and given a case.
Exactly. Oh, I think your hair would look better a certain way, like with the young man with the dreadlocks. You know, the recent headline.
They're really trying it.
They're so trying it.
But until, as long as we are, you know, we have to work with them because we need them for something, right? That's why that's all going back to the importance of having our own stuff. But it would take a whole change in our entire mindset. Right? And all these issues, what are they doing? They're helping us have lower self-esteem and not feel like we can go in there and demand what we're worth.
That is so true.
I think back to speaking to the pet to threat theme, I think it does a disservice to yourself to just pretty much think about, to believe the things that they tell you about yourself. I think your experiences shape who you are and how you go into situations. And I think a lot of times we put that on each other. you know? So this white boss told me something about my dreadlocks. So now you're triggered every time you see people with dreads, you know, or locks. You see them and you say, wow, maybe, you know, maybe they are dirty. Maybe I should cut my hair. But it's all because of, you know, you're trying to reach this certain level of professionalism or just acceptance. And then you're out in the world and you're projecting what's being done to you. You're becoming exactly like the people that despise you.